I have no filter these days. Yeah, it's a fake way of bonding, really.
Quiet.
So,
Did not go well.
and that was like the straw that broke the camel's back that led to my total emotional breakdown. Thank you, Melissa, for listening to your intuition.
My mom being dead.
And Angie.
Just see you next time.
See you next time. Okay, let's go fast. 1, 2, 3.
Unquiet soul.
Okay.
All right. Well, welcome back. It's been a minute. It feels like it's been a really long time. I didn't upload this week's episode because I was just too fucking tired. I just couldn't do it. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, a little break is okay. Well, I'm getting back into the routine of things next week. So
You already know I don't care, right?
yeah, I knew you wouldn't. And I mean, I edited the episode and I even started going through the clips, but that was the part that really exhausted me. So I was like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow I was like, I don't think I can. So I thought, well, I'll just wait till next week. And then I don't have to like double time to try to get one out. I love your glasses.
Oh, thank you. I don't wear
Those
these
are
that
so
often.
cute.
I don't know why.
I love them. Let me see your earrings.
Oh yeah, I also don't wear these that often, so I decided
What
to
is
bust
that
them out.
design?
I don't know. It's just like an abstract design.
I like it. That's cute. Well, so how have you been?
I've been okay. How have you been?
It's been a whirlwind for sure. Christmas was weird.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, we did because I make my kids take turns to open gifts, you know, like you one at a time. And we
Oh,
weren't really
yeah.
ready to like skip his turn this year. So I bought just little things for that we would open, but they'd be for us like incense, and Jake really liked mushrooms. So I got each of the kids this, but Bryson's was the only one that came in time. But I got him a mushroom pin for his backpack because he likes pins for his backpack. So just wind chimes. I wanted some wind chimes. So just little things like that. And I think that helped because I think it's important to honor the empty space and
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause you
acknowledge.
don't wanna just ignore, like
Right.
no, I
Yeah.
agree.
And then I went to my ex-in-law's house because, well, I don't know if you know this, but Bryson had a moment last weekend where he lost his shit and punched the refrigerator and broke his hand. So,
Oh.
yep. And so he has a splint. It's his right hand, and he's right-handed. He has a splint there for now, so he is afraid to drive on the highway. So I just agreed to go with him. No, it was a nice time, but late last night, someone sent me a video of Jake from Christmas last year, and then his best friend's mom sent me a picture. And it was like all the grief from the day just kind of hit
Yeah.
at once. So I had like a 30-minute, just like serious cry. But I thought, well, I must have needed that. Like, this must be what was building all day. And it's not like I was intentionally ignoring anything, but that's kind of how things have been. It's
Yeah.
like I'll cry little bits throughout the day while talking or something like that. But then something will trigger like the really big cry. But the really big ones only come every few days. So it's weird. It's just weird. And I think
Grief
my
is
brain
weird
is
like
just still
that.
trying to like grasp what the reality is. And somebody left a fucking shitty comment on my YouTube a minute ago. Well, a little longer than a minute, but not long ago. Because I finally got around to posting the clips that I made of that episode where I talked about everything that had happened. I hadn't posted them on YouTube Shorts because it took forever for the video to upload. And they're like defending the first responders. And I'm like, I didn't talk shit. I just said they shouldn't have laughed in my house. So,
Yeah, I didn't so let's go back to the beginning.
okay.
Or do you not wanna cover it because it's already covered in the
No, I don't care. Do you have a specific
Okay.
question though?
Well, just in general, like, what is the story? Because you and I haven't talked in weeks.
Well, um, basically, I was, that day was normal. I saw him about 1 AM because Friday night into Saturday morning because I had gotten out of bed 2 nights in a row. I had tried to go to bed kinda early, but the house was kinda hot, and so I both nights in a row, I got up to turn the air down so it would cool it down because I just can't sleep if the temperature's not 70, and they were all up in the living room, except Charlie, obviously, but, we talked about he asked if I would be willing to help pay half for a car part because his car was broken down. And I said, yeah, and he was really excited and like, oh, good. Saw a path forward for getting his car fixed and was really excited. And then I went to sleep, and I guess everybody else did too. And the next day, I went to the gym in the afternoon and then came back and got ready, and I went to do Uber Eats because I was making extra money for Christmas. And I had checked my Life 360 like over and over to see because like Brian refers to Jake as a shark, like always moving, right? And
Okay.
so even though his car was broken down, I knew if he was up, he was gonna go with friends somewhere. So I was checking my Life 360 the whole time I was gone, and it hadn't moved. And I got home around 6 and it still hadn't moved. And I mean, I had a pretty good inkling. I up until 5, I was telling myself, like, he's slept till 5 before, like,
Yeah.
like, don't freak out after 5, and then also my last delivery that day was in his best friend's neighborhood, and it was just the eeriest feeling. Like,
Mm.
I just was like, "Is this a sign?" Like, I mean, I just knew. I knew. And so, I got home and I had sent Brian to the store, I was gonna make this new recipe, so I hit the preheat on my oven, and I started to wash my hands, and I said, "Hey, have there been any signs of life from Jake? Like, has he come out of his room?" And both of them were like, "No," because they hadn't thought about it. Because he had just moved back home a few weeks ago and was gone all the time, so it was like they hadn't even
Yeah.
thought about it, you know what I mean?
And that makes sense.
Yeah, and Bryson said, "I didn't know he was here," and he checked his location, he was like, "Oh, shit." And so I was like I said something shitty, I don't remember what, but because I knew what I was about to find.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, I just knew. And so, I mean, not that there hasn't been other times that I was very afraid that's what I was gonna find also, but I don't know, I just knew. So, we went to his door, and I knocked really loud and was like, "Jake, Jake," and he didn't respond. And Bryson said, "Just go in." And I was like, "I'm not going in." He didn't answer, and I'm not binding him. So Bryson did. Um, and when he went in, he tried to shake him awake because he kind of saw right away. Um, but I think it wasn't computing that like it didn't just happen and there
Yeah.
was nothing we could do. So he said call 911, which made me think though, like, oh, I mean, what else are you gonna say, you know?
Right.
But he said it frantically, and I was like, "Oh, is there, like, a chance here? Like, is he just
Yeah.
non-responsive?" You know? But he ran out of the room, and I think at some point, I was like, "Is there a chance?" or something.
Like you had
Brian went in. There was a lot of hustle around that, so I don't remember it really perfectly, but Brian went in and was like, you know, "Well, I tried to call 911, but there's, like, prompts now. Press this for this for
Are
this,
you
this for this."
serious?
Yes, and my brain was not able to, like, conceive any of that and be able to
Right.
follow a direction. So, right when I was, giving up, I look over down the hallway, and Bryson has connected with 911, but he can't talk. So, he hands the phone to me, and I made the 911 call. So then it was just a bunch of people responding and whatever, and, the cop was shitty after a while. He just acted bored, and the story I told about the ambulance was that when they arrived, it was just to go, "Oh, okay," and leave, but while we wait for the medical examiner, but they were laughing in my hallway. Not
Mm.
about Jake, but it was still
Yeah,
like,
but it's still
time and
unprofessional.
place, guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I was trying not to, like, hold on to things to be mad about, but I was like,
Um,
"Damn, if I was
so
gonna be
what did
mad,
the
this would be a
YouTube
thing."
comments say?
oh, these guys literally get paid less than da 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 da.
That doesn't
And I
make it
was
right.
like, yep, yep. And they can still not laugh while they're standing in front of my dead child's room. That's that's a thing. You can withhold whatever just happened from outside until you get back outside. Like I'm standing right here. So I was just like, ugh, I'm not in the mood for that today. So I tried to respond nicely, but I don't know if I hit the mark. We'll see.
Oh, what did you say?
I don't even remember. I was just like, this clip is referencing blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so it's been weird. I think my brain's just trying to take it all in.
How was the service?
Really perfect. Couldn't have
Good.
asked for anything better. Like, so what we did is, we did an eco-friendly burial. So he was buried in this hand-woven basket
I've
that's
never
made
even heard
in,
of this.
yeah, it was a basket. Do you know what a Moses basket is for babies?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was basically like that, but more intricate and ornate, but bigger.
Interesting.
Yeah, and, they use, like, essential oils and stuff like that, but,
Hmm.
because Bryson had heard about composting, but that's only legal in a couple of states,
Okay.
and only certain funeral homes are licensed to do this particular type of burial, but we happened to choose one, so I was really happy with that, but Jake wanted he hoped to, like, turn into a mushroom, like, that he would grow into a mushroom. So we were like, "Well, this is the closest we can get to that." So it's very, like, laid on the earth kinda thing, and it was really cool. We really liked it, and, like, the slideshow was perfect. Bryson and I both said some things, and then the rest like, we had 2 his 2 best friends they didn't read it. They wrote something, and we had the lady who did the service read it, and then his boss submitted something, and she read that too, and Bryson, like, knocked it out of the park, like, did the best speech ever, and it was so
Really?
sweet and loving and funny, but not, and, you know, like, it was just perfect. It was really good. But yeah, like, in the end, there was, like, not an empty seat in the house, so
Oh,
that felt
good.
good.
Yeah.
Like, lots of friends, lots of family, lots of our friends, like, just very it was good. It felt really loving and supportive, and then, everybody liked the spot I picked in the cemetery for him, so that felt good. But, like, the cemetery part was kind of, like, dramatic because Bryson has a broken hand. So the thing about this basket is you carry him by the handle out of the basket, but then you tie ropes and everybody uses the ropes till they actually lowered him down into the ground. I
But he only
was
has 1 hand,
terrified
basically.
that I was terrified they were gonna drop him and that Bryson was gonna fall into this grave because he's clumsy like me, and there's, like, a big pile of dirt from where they've dug this, you know,
Yeah.
and that's what he's
Oh
kinda,
my
like,
god.
stepping
Yeah,
on.
that sounds
Oh my god.
stressful.
I was fucking stressed, but I was literally going, "Okay, if they drop him, Jake would think that's hilarious, so I'm just gonna it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay." Like, I'm not gonna let that be traumatic for me. Thankfully, they didn't drop him, but it was, like, really beautiful, and we picked like, I was so glad because we picked a funeral home that really values, like, doing it the way you want to, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, "We're not religious," and Jake wasn't religious, and I just oh, they did a sound bowl.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah, so that was really cool. We played, a Pink Floyd song, and we played, um, a John Lennon song, and a song that Jake had shown Bryson at one time, and then as like, the very end when people, like, come and, like, hug you or whatever, we played, "Let It Be" by the Beatles, I think it's the Beatles, or is it one of the guys? But, anyway, it was, like, really pretty, like, everything went very perfectly, so I couldn't have been happier with that. It was the only thing
Oh,
I
good.
didn't like is that and it's not like I didn't like, but it was like, it's not like I'm unhappy with anyone for this, but the first day, he looked really good, like, minimal makeup, you know, whatever, like, when we went to the viewing, it was beautiful. The next day, they'd had to put a lot more makeup on him, so I didn't like that, but,
Yeah.
I mean, I understood it, obviously, but I did
Yeah, I know,
it
that's why
looked
I don't
less
like
like him.
funerals. It looks
Mhm,
weird. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, and it was already pretty weird, but not bad, like, that I had told him, like, "My number 1 is please just do your best on him." Like, that's the only thing I care about, because with my mom she had been pumped full of fluids for like 3 weeks before she died, and all that had nowhere to go. So she swelled so bad afterwards that it changed the bone structure. It didn't look like her. It was very traumatic. We thought it wasn't her. We thought they put the wrong body in
Oh,
this casket.
yeah.
So it was so traumatic, and so I didn't want that, obviously, but his bone structure, because he had the best cheeks, all of that was perfect, his nose was the same, his hands, all of that, so that was good. It's just the makeup thing, like, because it sucked, the contrast. He looked so beautiful the first day, and then the next day I was like, "Ooh," but I knew it
Yeah.
was coming because I could see stuff by the end of the viewing that I was like, "They're gonna have to put more makeup on him." You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So,
Yeah.
it was okay, but I hated it, but I just didn't look at him that much that second day. I was just like, "Okay, we're just here to say goodbye, like, we did this all yesterday," you know? And actually, during the viewing, everybody was everybody was dreading going up there. So I was like, "I'm gonna go first, it's fine." And I walked up and I was like, "Okay, you guys are gonna be happy, it's good." And the attention to detail that this funeral put into everything, like, there was 2 foyers, and they had all of his stuff that, like, we got to take personal items of his to display, and they did it beautifully, and they even printed some of the pictures that we had uploaded for the slideshow in, like, different sizes around his
Oh,
stuff. It
cool.
was gorgeous, like, literally, they couldn't have done anything better. It was beautiful.
I think it takes a certain kind of person to work in a funeral home because I don't they're just first of all, they're just amazing with how they talk with you because, like, they talk with people in, like, the worst grief of their life, and they're, like,
Yeah.
so compassionate, and they don't do it in a way that's tacky, at least in my experience, and then, like, to your point, like, I feel like they go out of their way to make it so special, and it just
Yeah.
takes a certain kind of person because
Well, I've
most
definitely the funeral home that did my mom and, like, every member of my family's ever used, I hate that funeral home. I think it's a shitty funeral home, like, in terms of how it looks, and it's very catered to a certain type of person,
mm,
which is not me, and it's like they've done it a little too long or something. You know
like,
what I
they're
mean?
burnt
Like,
out, yeah.
yeah, and it's family owned and
Well,
whatever.
I was just gonna say, I think a lot of funeral homes are family businesses.
Mhm. Yeah, this one that we used it was his dad's business, and then he ended up taking over when his dad got sick, and then he did his dad's service there and whatever. Um, you could tell that he, like I asked him, I was like, "Are you a Virgo?" Because the attention to detail, and he was like, "No, I'm a Capricorn." I was like, "Ah, same thing." You know, like, in terms of attention to detail, very structured. Like, he had a
Yeah.
checklist, and he coordinated it really well. It was really good. Like, he he just and he also was very open about, like, having been afraid for his own child for these types of things, and because he
Mm.
said he well, he had to pull me aside at one point because I was like, "I'm not sure if" I was trying not to say certain things in front of Charlie, and so I when he pulled me aside, he's like, "Why are you so concerned that he's not gonna look good? Like, what is it?" And I was like, "Oh, for me, it's just because of how long he was in there before we found him." And he was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, no, he's like, "No, that's not a problem." I was like, "And just he was just laying, but he was laying on his side, and I don't know, I just was worried, like, "What are you gonna do?" 'Cause, like, I didn't know. And he's like, "No, no, no, that's not something that's hard to work with." And I was like, "Oh, okay, great." But and he said, he's like, "Yeah, I was sitting next to the person when you made the call, this morning, and, I was able to just stay really calm during those conversations, and I think people were really worried about me because of that, but, um" he's like, "I thought, oh, this wasn't, like, a huge surprise to her." And I was like, "No, it wasn't. It wasn't." I mean,
Mhm.
something made me worry about him. Like, I wasn't sure what was going on, but something seemed off, and I mean, I worried about him all the time anyway, just because he, was the worst driver and, all the stuff. Like, I just worried all the time. But I guess I knew he seemed off the last few days, but, like, I just was like, "What is this? What is he doing harder shit? Is this alcohol that he just mixed with weed, and so this is kinda how he is on the" I just didn't know. I did not
Yeah.
imagine that it was harder stuff, but I remember taking him in that night that I saw him and just really looking at his face, and his coloring was off, and his eyes were weird, and just everything, and I was like, "What is he on? I just I mean, I guess I couldn't fathom that it was anything that would kill him, but I worried anytime I didn't see him I mean, I went through
Yeah.
just messages from that day back to May, and it is so much of me saying, "Are you okay? Everything okay?" Because I would look at his Life 360 and see he hadn't moved and just stress. Like, it
So
happened
do you think
all the time.
this time it was just, like, more because you had that internal knowing, like a level of acceptance that you weren't as, like, actively worried?
I don't know. I
Yeah,
really
that's
don't. It
interesting.
was just
I
I
think it's your
think
intuition, I think you knew. So it was like
yeah, I mean, I think
things
having the
saying
hours leading up to the actual finding him and the stress that I was feeling, I mean, I've told this to a few people, but the second that we found him, I breathed a huge sigh and was like, "Okay, well, I don't have to worry anymore. I know where he is now."
yeah.
Like, I was like, "Okay, this is it. Like, my job here of worrying is done."
Has he visited you?
Not like in a dream, but there's been several things like, right away while we were still in the living room, while the police and everything were in his room, uh, remember how he lost his wallet?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I was worried that his license was in there, and I was like, "Oh, we need to hurry and get online and order another copy of his license before the state's notified because then they'll just send it to us."
Oh, yeah.
And, Bryson was talking about how he wanted to get a special ornament for Jake. And then, I didn't think I was gonna be able to go into his room, but I was like, "I think this is one of those things I have to make myself do just to see." Like, I'm not gonna put any pressure. If I open the door and it's awful, that's okay, but, like, you can't avoid because my room a wall connects to his wall right where he slept, and it was I didn't even wanna go in my room, let alone his. And
Yeah.
so, I was like, "Let's just go see. Let's go see what it feels like in there," and it was actually so good. Like, I
Mm,
love being in his room. It smells like him, and I just feel him in there. And
yeah.
so, right when I opened the door, his license was sitting right there, like, right there. Yeah. And then 5 minutes later, I'm rooting around and shit, and I pick up this little Snoopy thing, and it's got OU, our state or, our football team. And, I handed it to Bryson, and I was like, "Look at this cute thing," and he lost his shit because he was like, "Mom, it's an ornament." So those 2 things happened immediately,
Oh my
and
god.
then, that night, Jake was always on Facebook Marketplace looking for cars or car stuff or you know what I mean? Bryson's not, ever, and he had a widget on his phone that advertised what he thought was an $800 car on Facebook Park Marketplace, and he was like, "Mom," and he was like, "Well, maybe it's not because it was actually advertising the hood," which, just so you know, remember I just replaced Jake's hood. I had to go with him to, like, put the hood on the top of my car and all that, and I said, "No, Bryson, that's even better because that's what Jake would do. He would get so excited for an $800 car and get everyone all amped up, and then he'd walk in and go, "Turns out that was just the hood." So we had that. Um, we've I even last night as I was laying in bed about to go to sleep, getting that video from my ex-sister-in-law, it was like Jake sent that, and then the mom of his friend sent the picture of him, and it was like he knew that I was like, "I want a picture I haven't seen," like, just something like
Mm.
and I hadn't said it to anyone, I was laying there by myself.
And I almost said earlier, like, that's kind of weird to just send an unsolicited picture like that.
Yeah,
'Cause I don't know if
yeah,
I
and I
would
was
do that
like
after asking, like, I would be like, "Hey, I have this picture, would you like it?"
right,
Yeah.
and Bryson found half a blunt yesterday outside by our patio in the backyard. We've been out there, and that hasn't been there. And his friend's mom who sent me that said she went on a walk on a neighborhood and on someone's car it said, "Jake was here, wash me." Yeah. So, yes, in that way, I definitely
That's what
feel
I
him.
meant. Yeah.
Yes. And I think I have. Oh, Do you know what? Okay, and I forgot about this. The next morning, because the first couple of nights, me and Bryson slept in the living room together because we didn't wanna be away from each other, and, I woke up and I hadn't opened my eyes yet, so this was all just in my mind. I woke up, but I didn't open my eyes, and in my mind, I saw Jake at my front door, and he just looked at me in the same way he had all the time when he would leave. He would just kinda look at me, and I'd be like, "You leaving?" He'd be like, "Yeah," but this time he just looked at me, and he opened the door and walked out in the clothes that he had been wearing,
Yeah.
and that felt like him too, but I haven't, like, had my sleep's been pretty erratic, and so um, I sensed this morning that I dreamt about him, but nothing that I could remember, you know? So there's been a lot of little, like, signs that, like, he's
Yeah.
very present, and the thing that really gives me comfort is, A, my belief system, but I'm crying a lot more today than usual, but, I in this moment, I'm believing that this was part of this that it wasn't early, this was because this was the only way that he was going to bring forth more consciousness, which was according to that book that I bought, the Play Your Cards Right, his card in
Mm,
my life was to help me be less afraid of consciousness, of some of the things that he knew to be true for himself, but that I've been afraid of. And, like Bryson has started to develop a spirituality because of this, because of those signs. Like he gave him irrefutable signs, you know,
yeah.
like just stuff that that Facebook widget, he couldn't deny
Right.
that. And then at first the ornament and the license, he was pretty like taken because literally, Angie, we walked in the room and there
And
it
it was
was
there.
sitting right there. It wasn't over on his nightstand. It was on a little table right there, like, as I opened the door, it was the first thing I saw was his license, and I was like, I don't believe in coincidences." And
Right.
there's been several like, a song coming on that wasn't in the rotation,
Yeah.
just different shit like that, and I've been very comforted by those things. I think last night, the hardest part was I let fear take over for a little bit, that, like, he would stop doing those things eventually, and, that
Uh-huh.
scares me, but I just have to stay very present and, like, right here, right now, which for the most part I've been able to do. I don't know why I'm crying so much today, but I think some of it's just because I haven't been awake very long, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's
Also,
been a
it's
lot of
okay to
things.
cry.
No,
But
I
also,
know, it's just weird for me.
um, like with my dad, because I remember there was a point when I started seeing less signs. So I started writing him letters and I would ask to see a sign and then he would deliver. So there's always that.
I always think I'm gonna need to be specific, so it's funny
Yeah.
that you
And that's
said
how my
that,
dad
like,
is
that
because
I
he
need
knows.
to request it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes. No, that's funny that you say that because 'cause I've definitely thought, like, oh, because 'cause I've had to learn that with my mom. With my dad, I actually had tons of stuff from him for a long time, and I was surprised to not with my mom, but I think it's because I was pregnant with Bryson when my mom died, so I was just protecting myself during
Hmm.
that time. I was closed off. It wasn't until my spirituality really started evolving that I could feel her all
Oh,
the
really?
time. Yeah, all
So
the
she was
time.
probably there. You just weren't
Yes.
noticing. And that's like with my dad, like it has to be crystal clear or I don't notice. So I think Jake will always be there. It's just whether you notice him or not.
Right, and I think as long as we're intentional, then but what was it? I wish I could remember what happened, but when Bryson broke his hand, I went into Jake's room and I have one of his favorite T-shirts and I held it on a pillow and I just, like, hugged it a lot because it felt good, you know? And I was
Yeah.
just crying
That's
out like,
actually a
"Please
really good
help your
idea.
brother, please help your brother," and I can't remember what happened, but it was, like, 10 minutes later, uh Bryson is now. Like, I was like, "Help him see this differently. Help like, I can't get through to him. Help him see because it was just a moment, and he was upset about something that I don't wanna talk about on air, but,
Yeah, that's fine.
um, I was like, "Please just help him see that differently," and then within 10 minutes, Bryson's in my room saying exactly what I was hoping, like, he was gonna feel. You know what I mean? like, within 10 minutes. Exactly. Exactly. 'Cause I was just I didn't know what else to do because he was losing his shit. In fact, I was kinda glad he broke his hand because he was about to destroy my whole fucking house. Very out of character for him, but he just got it just blew up. He just got too much.
Yeah.
He couldn't handle it, and he didn't know what to do with all of it, you know? Like, I wasn't mad at him at all. I was just like, "Oh my fucking god."
Yeah, that's a lot. Also, how is Charlie handling it?
Um, I think as good as she could. I've been very like the I don't have any regrets, but it sucks. Some things suck, but like the second I knocked on the door and he didn't answer, I she was coming out of her room and I was like, "Go to your room." And so she was in there
Um,
by herself for a little while. She was alone when she heard me tell 911 I just found my son dead in his room. So I hate
mm,
that. I hate that she was alone, but also I spared her from the worst parts of that. I also was very determined to not be hysterical so that that didn't scare her because I knew like she's taking in everything, you know?
yeah,
But then, as soon as I could, I went in and said the words directly and hugged her and said, "I'm so sorry," and then as soon as Brian could be in there with her, he was in there with her the rest of the time. But she's I mean, crying appropriately, but, like,
yeah,
that night, thankfully, her friend offered for her to stay the night with her. She lives in our neighborhood, and so I was like, "Okay, you know what? That's probably better," because we didn't sleep at all that night. We were
right.
me and Bryson were up in the living room the entire night, like, literally didn't sleep. And so, and then we didn't sleep the next day either. Like we were up. We ended up getting like an hour at some point in that 48, but it was not good. We were not feeling
Yeah.
good. But so I was glad that she was having a good time. They went out of their way, bought her special snacks.
Oh, good.
She
Yeah,
did really cute stuff and like so that was really good for her. When she came back, I think, it hit her and um, she cried through the whole viewing and through the whole funeral, but I was glad she wasn't trying to be tough or you know what I
yeah.
mean? And I asked a couple people, "Keep an eye on her, she's quiet and she's gonna be easy to lose track of, and I'm doing so much, I don't wanna," and so, like, thankfully, anyone if I wasn't, like, noticing that she was kinda having a hard time, someone else stepped in. So, she said yesterday was the best Christmas ever, so I was like, "Well, okay." I get okay, good. Like, she was
Your
excited for her gift and stuff.
your level of self-awareness is so amazing because, like, there's so much going on and, like, what you said really resonated with me because I was always the quiet one, but people took that as, like, "We don't need to worry about you."
Uh-huh. Me too. Me
So
too.
maybe that's
Like,
why you're so aware of it. Yeah.
yeah, because I was like, "Don't assume that because Bryson's grieving loudly that she's not grieving." You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, I know
And so,
exactly what
yeah,
you
I've
mean.
just kinda checked in with her, and I've been as honest as possible. I've let her because those first few days, I let his friends just come be with us, like which is pretty unlike me, but they spent lots of times here, like, lots, in his room, in our living room, like it was the only thing that helped was talking with them and, like, helping them and hearing stories about Jake and whatever, and I just let her be I didn't try to shelter any of that, she
Yeah.
heard it all, and I thought that was important, though, that trying trying to keep her from yucky stuff, but not, like I just felt like she needed to hear as much as she possibly could because I knew she was gonna try to make sense of things in her own way,
Mhm.
and also, she had gone in Jake's room that morning, which never fucking happens, but he slept with his dog that night, which also never happens because we don't let him, like, fall asleep with the dog because the dog is a whiny ass bitch who, in the middle of the night, decides he wants
Oh,
one of
yeah.
us, or he likes to travel. He's like Jake. He's a shark. He wants to move. He wants to, like, know what we're all up to. He wants us all in the same room so he can see that we're safe. He's just the sweetest little thing. He's the sweetest fucking dog.
Wait, is that the
But
dog you just got that you didn't
uh-huh.
want? Okay.
Yeah. Jake's dog, yeah.
Okay.
Um, and so Charlie loves this dog, so she was looking for him that morning, and the dog was asleep in Jake's bed. Jake was on his floor because he likes to do things like that where he just is chilling, hanging out. He was on his phone was still in his hand. Um, and so she didn't notice him right away. She saw the
Yeah.
dog and walked past Jake to get the dog. And that she said the dog was laying on the bed kinda sad, which I believe because that morning she brought him into my room and I was like, "What is wrong with him? He's so off."
Oh,
I
really?
said that without even knowing what happened, and he stayed with Jake, never cried to be let out. He stayed with him all night,
Oh,
but once Charlie started making the connection of, like, he was gone when I went in there,
oh, it's
then
kinda creepy.
yeah, so we had to tell her, like, "Hey, there was nothing you could have done. If you had known, if you hadn't known there was nothing you could have done. He was already gone. He had been gone for a while by the time you saw him, I'm sure." And
Yeah,
so me and Bryson sat her down to have that conversation, but we were waiting until we knew she had connected the dots because she was saying he was sleeping the first couple of times she said she went in there, and I was like, "I think she knows, but she's not ready to say that yet." And then once she said, "I thought he was just sleeping," I was like, "Okay, she's ready for us to have that conversation with her."
yeah,
And I remember from losing my parents, your nervous system gets so scared of, like, who's next. Now I don't feel safe, you know? And so I've just tried to, like, reassure, like, we're not doing those types of drugs. So, like, we're okay. You know, you don't have to worry
yeah.
about us, blah, blah, blah. So I've just tried to do things like that. But she's out playing with a friend right now. Last night when I was crying, she walked in my room and she's like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I'm just really sad right now." She's like, "Oh, okay." So, like, I think she's 11 and, 11-year-olds are very, like, from my own worldview, and I think she's doing that really appropriately, so, I mean, we need to, make sure we get her some sort of grief therapy at some point, but for now, I think she did go to school one day that week because she was worried about testing, like, the end of the quarter testing, and if it was important to her, it was important to me, so we sent her that Wednesday, and then all the rest of the day she was at home with us and just kinda taking it all in, but I thought she seems appropriate. Everything seems really appropriate, so, I mean, I don't wanna make any assumptions, but
Yeah,
so far, I mean, just seeing her be willing to cry and, talk about things, and she brings him up at will, whenever, so I feel like that's good.
yeah, I'm just gonna say I do think that's healthy.
Yeah, I mean, as long as she's not the things I would be looking for signs of distress is not being willing to talk about him at all and not crying at all. Those would be
Yeah,
the things that I would be but she's cried a lot, so not like I haven't seen her, like, lose her shit the way we have, but I don't know that an 11-year-old would, you
yeah,
know?
I don't know. Or
I don't
maybe
either.
there could be, like, a processing delay, like, maybe she'll be in that stage,
Yeah,
like,
I mean yeah,
no.
absolutely. I mean, I think at 11 too, so much of the grief is gonna come when she's experiencing big moments that her brother's not a part of, and
Yeah,
more just in a l like a brain thing, like allowing, but I don't know, it'll be interesting to watch how that evolves, but I've just tried to make it to where well, I've talked a lot about the grief process, like, out loud, like, just every time, because those first 24 hours, I really had to calm Bryson, and I just continued to educate about, like, "This is what your brain does to look for control. You just need to feel this. Don't try to think it, feel it,
yeah,
and cry as much as you need to, let it hurt as much as you need to, but get the fuck out of your brain." And that after that, he really has done pretty well. I mean, he cries a lot and stuff, but,
yeah.
like, he's done pretty well. I mean, he had that moment, but it was a lot going on at the time, so
Yeah, like, that doesn't even seem ridiculous when you put it in context. Like, if it
mhm.
would've been a random thing, I would've been like, "Ooh, that's crazy," but
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
even seem
Yeah, it
out of
just happened, and it
yeah,
was like, "Oh," and then he was so sad because he's like, "Why did I do that? That was stupid. Now
like
my
the
life is
shame
gonna be
spiral.
complicated."
Yeah,
Yes. And I said, "Hey, we said it was gonna be okay if we do this imperfectly. We don't know how the fuck to grieve Jake, so we're gonna do this not all right, and that was imperfect, and that's okay. That's part of our grief plan, is to show up exactly how we need to show up in the moment. You had a moment, and so it's not gonna do you any good." And then I was still kinda worried about him, but then the next day he woke up in a really good mood and was more chipper and, so
how's his
I don't
hand, though?
know. I
Like,
had
what
that lady
exactly
on that said that if you ask your angels to speak with someone else's angels to help, they can help, like, change the way you refers to your spirit guides as angels, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But, she said that that is one thing that you can do, is to help change the way people see something, and so that's why I was just like, "Just help him see this differently," and
Mm,
So I felt like that was accomplished.
Oh, that's cool. I never thought about that. Communicating have your spirit guides communicate with someone else's spirit guides.
Yeah, that's what
Oh,
she said.
that's
Actually, that
sweet.
was my number 1 most popular episode of 2025, and it's funny because the ones that have been the most popular were very, like, just spot on for the moment of what we're going through, so I've been just like, everything's so orchestrated, like, that's how
Mm.
I feel. Because again, I don't believe in coincidences, so
Oh, I
every
don't either.
time something coincidental happens, I'm like, "Ugh, thank you, Jake," because I just know, and my mom, I just feel very guided in this time and just like, okay, I want to hold my grief and my love for what I'm doing on this earth at the same time. Yes, it fucking hurts and nothing is the same. It's not ever going to be the same. But that doesn't mean that it can't be good and it can't be just as happy at the same time that things are really sad. And it's
Yeah.
going to be awkward to figure out that path, and we're only, a couple of weeks in. So, like, my brain's still coming to grips with the fact that this actually happened. I will say, I was very present during that funeral, and yet it doesn't seem real that it was
Oh,
my
yeah.
child that I put into the ground, you know? So,
I
it
think
just
that's
is
like
what it
a
is.
survival mechanism in your
Mhm.
brain. So that's
Yeah,
not
because
something
I really don't even remember who all I've spoken to.
see, that's what I
Like,
mean, like
even though, like, I'm very if you were to talk to me in the moment, I'm very lucid, I'm not dissociated, I'm not whatever, but yet my brain is just, it's chemicals. All that
yeah,
shit that I was
you
flooded with cortisol and adrenaline for, and whenever those things started to wear off, it took a few days for us to be able to eat, but those are the things that I've been so determined to, like, you try. You don't have to force anything, but you have to try because you're never going to get your appetite back if you lean into the fact that you can't eat right now. So I would
yeah.
take a few bites of like French fries or a hash brown because potato products are bland but salty, and I can do that. So we just did that until one night we were like, God, I'm so fucking hungry. We devoured just regular McDonald's cheeseburgers. And I was like, okay, my appetite's back. So that's, I just tried to do things. And a friend of mine sent me vitamins and some hydration packs. And I was like, good idea. I'm glad because
That
stress
is
is
a good
going to wreck
idea,
my immune
actually.
system.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was really glad to receive that in the mail, and I've been taking them, and it helps. It really does. So I've been trying to just like pay attention to my physical body. And also it's hard to like know how to grieve too. Like
I
one day I
know.
was just like, okay, something happened. This has happened twice actually, where my chest hurt from the pain, like something like I saw a new picture of him or whatever, and my
Yeah.
chest hurt, and I was just like, "Okay, I'm just gonna sit and just notice what's happening in my body." Like, if I get really sad and I don't know what to do with it, I just sit with my body and just notice what sensations are
That's what you're supposed to
happening.
do, like, just focus on
Yeah.
the sensation.
Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. I mean, last night it was harder, but I'm gonna have harder times, and so I wasn't, like, worried, but the times that I let my brain get a little bit away from me, I will almost have a full-blown fucking panic attack, so I
Yeah.
have to, like, bring it back and just start really, really focusing on where I'm feeling things inside myself, but it really helps, it really does.
Yeah, because the problem is when the stories in your head start getting out of control, and then that just
Mhm.
exacerbates everything.
Yes, and that's what I've really tried to model is it will go away in 90 seconds or less. I mean, it didn't last night, but it was Christmas Day.
Yeah,
It
sometimes
was
it's
my first
harder
Christmas.
yeah.
Yeah, but most of the time, the really ugly shit will happen for about 90 seconds, and then I'm not saying it's not gonna come right back in 5 minutes, but you just have to get through that minute,
You
you
have to,
know?
like, neutralize it to get through it. Yeah, for sure.
Mhm. So I've worked really hard on that because I'm not saying that I'm, like, the best at grieving, but I'm not gonna let this fucking drive me insane. I'm not gonna be the person whose life just goes completely to shit. I still have goals. I still very much and more than ever want to live within my purpose. I don't believe that my son died at 18 years old for no reason. And so
Yeah.
I it would be a shame to me, and I'm not hating on anybody who's just their life fall apart after losing someone they love. I That's not it at all. But I've been through grief before, and I've never done it in a healthy way. And so I have so many tools and resources. I'm going to use them,
Yeah.
because I don't want to go crazy. I just don't. I don't deserve that. I don't deserve to have a shitty life. And I don't believe I have to have a shitty life just because this is what I've experienced. And I'm more settled into my purpose now than ever because he was a part of that, and now he's a bigger part of that, and
Yeah.
now I think Bryson feels an even more clear path forward because he wants to help people who's going through the things Jake was going through, trying to help them, you know?
Yeah.
And so, or even one is considering being like the person who officiated the service because she was called a celebratant or a celebrator, where she just takes the story, like you tell her all, she asked questions about Jake's life story and she put it together in this really nice way,
Oh,
and
yeah.
brought in our stories about him as part of this one story that she told about Jake. So, like, Bryson's even considering that. So, whatever it is, like, whether he works in grief, whether he works with kids who are ADHD autistic, whatever it is, like, he's feeling a clearer path and feels too like he's had an experience that will actually, like, help him determine which way to go, you know?
Oh, I love
So,
that.
like, again, I don't want, I wanna feel it. I wanna experience what I'm supposed to experience from this, but I don't want it to derail the beautiful, wonderful things I was already doing, and I
Right.
wanna expand on that, and, I just think that was part of the purpose, that I keep going through things, sharing what I'm learning in real time, and giving that information to people who need it at the same time.
I love that because I feel like with any challenge in life, you have to find the meaning behind it. Otherwise, it will derail you and just
Oh, yes. And again, I have so much compassion for anyone who's just not
same.
able, to take
Yeah.
those steps. And God knows the last losses, they definitely derailed me. I mean, not
Yeah.
totally because I did the things that I wanted to do, but like, I mean, I was fucking binge eating donuts with my grandma because I just couldn't. I didn't want to feel the guilt and shame, but I also didn't know how to feel the pain. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
Because that's how it
Um,
was when my dad died. Like, I didn't know how to deal with it. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. So we're speaking
Yeah.
of a place of once being the person who was derailed. And we know, like,
Yeah,
what,
not from a place of judgment
yeah.
at all. It's more like, I don't wanna do that again, you
Yeah.
know? And,
Because
like,
it
with
was
my
so
mom,
self
like I
destructive.
said, yes, yeah, and I can see where, like, I tried so hard with my mom, but, like, I just couldn't even access that pain point with her. I remember that because I remember a member of the family that I shall not name being judgmental about the fact that I didn't cry at my mom's funeral. And it was just
Mm.
like, hello, I was in shock and I was trying to protect this unborn fetus. I was just trying to stay
Yeah.
calm for him, you know? I mean, I didn't know he was a him then. But yeah, I was like, okay, thanks for judging my grief, you asshole.
I know, and that's another interesting thing about grief, right? Because everyone does it differently.
Mm-hmm. Very, very differently. I've It's been so sweet though to watch his friends care so much about me.
Oh,
And like at first, it was so sweet because I told one of his friends, like, "It helps so much to talk to you guys." New friends about every hour were getting my number and texting me. So it was really nice because for the first few days, I was so busy, like, because I was responding if I had the energy, I responded to people, and I wanted to talk to his friends because I wanted early on to plant those seeds of how to grieve this more appropriately than even what I was seeing them grieve it, you know?
yeah.
Um, and so it really helped me to talk to them. But, yeah, that I just one just texted me, "Here's a synchronicity." I don't know, but literally 5 minutes before I received this text, I was going, are we gonna to myself, no one, not out loud. I was sitting there thinking, am I gonna keep that? Because we put a little Christmas tree in Jake's room with our special ornaments. Because I wasn't really ready to see his name on an ornament on the Christmas tree because we didn't put that up until after, but I was determined for Charlie to make sure we did Christmas, you know? And I was like, I'm scared of things. I don't wanna not do things I'm scared of because I'm just afraid of the pain. It's
Yep.
the same avoidant shit, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, "Okay, we're gonna do this." I didn't have the energy, so I had Brian put the tree up, and then we just put some ornaments up. We didn't do it great, whatever,
Yeah.
but again, we're gonna
It's
show
there.
up imperfectly, and
Yeah.
that's fine. But we put this little tree in Jake's room, and it made us really happy, and we put all of the special ornaments on it. I was sitting there thinking, "Am I gonna take that down?" And I was like, "Well, I do wanna take those ornaments off and put them away with the ornaments because I wanna make sure now that, like, I'm so happy that all of those have survived all these years." Because 'cause we've had those ornaments with their names on it for years.
Okay.
Um, and then 5 minutes later, his friend texted me and said, "Hey, are you gonna keep that tree in Jake's room? Because I have some ideas for his room." And I was like, I hadn't even said that shit out loud.
Yeah.
So again, I'll call it a synchronicity, but it was cool, you know? Like, it was just like, "Okay, I'm very protected right now," and I felt that, and because I'm allowing people to love me and show up for me, I have felt very physically like I'm lifted, like they're holding me. I have felt that from the beginning because I've absolutely let people do whatever the fuck they wanted to do for me. Someone said, they listed some things that they could do for me, and I said, "Yes, please come pick up my laundry." My washer and dryer went out, so that was fun.
Oh, no.
So
In the
uh-huh,
middle of all of this.
mhm. So I was like, "Yes, please pick up our laundry," and I asked his best friend's mom to wash the hoodie that we wanted to bury him in. I let his friend come and help us decide what we were gonna do because he got all of his fashion advice from him, and so we kind of had decided what we thought we wanted, but we had a few options so that he could help. And then I asked that kid's mom to wash the hoodie because that was the only person I trusted because she was like a second mom to him. And there's just been little things like that and then a few days later, I was like, "Can you please come pick up some laundry to do for me?" Because I know that people really do wanna help. They wanna do anything they
You just
can to
don't
feel
know
like
what to
they're helping.
do.
Right. And so I'm like, "Yes, yeah, you can help me." We've used all of the fucking money people put on like, people donated, gift cards for Uber Eats and DoorDash. We've used it. We have eaten all the food that people made and delivered to our doorstep. I mean, we are taking advantage of anything that people are willing to do for us because it does feel good. And honestly, I made breakfast yesterday morning and it was fine. It wasn't as taxing as I thought. I think cooking may be a silent trigger because I was about to make something whenever all this started. So
Mhm.
it may be, I don't know. It also just seems like it's gonna take so much energy,
I
but
know.
it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad and but I am kind of dreading like, oh, because we've had a couple really fucking good homemade meals that we're like, damn, Gina, like we are really being taken
We might
care of
need
right
more
now.
help. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, "Do you wanna bring more food? We really like that food." But so, yeah, I mean, just everything that people have done to try to help us, and it feels good to feel so loved and supported, you know? Whereas before, I was looking like you had to show up in this perfect way that I couldn't even define. I couldn't
Yeah.
tell you, you know, acknowledging my grief made me mad. So I was pushing everyone away and then saying, no one's here for me. So, like, this time I was just determined not to do that. And even though, yes, some people have said things that you're just like, okay, it's still like, I know where this is. I know you're
People are
desperate
just
to try to
weird.
help me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I've just taken everything that's been said in the spirit in which it's intended and just like, that's so kind that they care so much that they're trying to help, you know? And just shit that I would have held on to try to be pissed about for so and I would have never let it go either. There was shit I was up until healing, there was shit from mom and dad that I was still letting go of, you know? So, I'm just grateful. I really I know without a doubt all the shit I went through the last 2 years was to prepare me for this. Like, at least in
Mm.
part, you know, like
Yeah.
I could not have been better prepared because I have all the tools to deal with this. I mean, it's not gonna make it easier, but I'm not driving myself insane, and I'm not physically wasting away. I'm not taking care of my body, like, I'm seeing my body still for the gift that it is and still wanna take care of it and nourish it and know that I mean, like, if I start to get agitated, I'm like, "Oh, I gotta eat." I'm not doing things that I used to do where I would ignore the physical symptoms of
Yeah.
things and then just try to press forward. And also at 45, you don't have the energy if you're not taking care of your body. Like, I am more tired for sure. I mean, activity makes me very, very tired. Um, like my feet were hurting so bad from the viewing and then the funeral the next
Oh,
day. I
yeah,
had to
because you're
just lay
standing up
around.
during the
Yes. Yes. Oh my God, I was in so much pain. And I wasn't necessarily prepared for like how tired I was gonna
Yeah,
feel,
like,
but
you don't think about something like that in the moment.
uh-huh. Yeah, just so tired, just so tired. That's why this morning I was like, I'm not gonna have caffeine even though I woke up. I wanna like let myself fall back asleep in a little while when I can, and I did, and I'm glad because I do know at 45, going 48 hours without real sleep was really hard, but we just couldn't I couldn't
And
because
that
I
just,
didn't.
like, fuels the, like,
Oh, all of it.
crazy
Yeah, it was,
thinking.
like,
Yeah.
fueling agitation, fueling the stomach stuff because my stomach was just not tolerating food. I was drinking a lot of water, thankfully, but it was not gonna eat, like, it just wasn't. It wasn't until after I got a little bit of sleep that my
Yeah, and
stomach
that's
relaxed
hard
enough.
because, like, when your stomach is in knots and you know you need to eat, but you just can't.
Yeah, because that first night, I mean, it really felt in knots. Like, that is exactly how it felt, and I was gonna vomit at any time. It wasn't
Yeah.
a nausea, it was it was so tight and tense that it was gonna project anything, any contents of it out. It was really weird, but, I mean, I knew that was part of thing I knew I was in shock. Like, I could tell that and one day I felt very shaky internally, not like, "Oh, my hands are shaking," but inside,
Yeah.
so Jake had a weighted blanket, so I grabbed that and took a nap with it because I just was like, "Ooh, my body needs pressure." I could feel that.
Yeah.
So, I'm just trying to take care of myself in any way that I can, because I know that's part of it. If I don't take care of my physical body, my emotions aren't going to be taken care of at all.
Yeah.
And it's also weird how I was absolutely losing my fucking mind at midnight and woke up today fine. Like, it's just
Yeah,
weird
and that's
how it
yeah,
just
grief is
passes.
so weird like that. Like,
Mhm.
it just, like, comes on at a most random time, and then you're fine a little while later.
Yeah, like, you really are kinda worried it's never gonna feel anything other than that pain, and then you wake up fine. It's weird. It's so weird. I was really surprised when I woke up this morning and felt pretty normal. Like, I was just like, "Do, do, do," doing my normal shit. The first few days too, I couldn't be on TikTok because shit was just, like, really triggering or agitating, even the sounds and
Also,
stuff.
in all fairness, I feel like TikTok is agitating in general, so
Can be for sure, yeah.
especially when you're at, like, a heightened emotional intensity.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh," we just talked. We would just sit in the living room, me and Brian would come in and out because he that first night, he was up till, like, 4 AM, and then I was like, "You should go to bed," because I knew I was sleeping on the couch, so we sent him to bed, but he didn't get very much sleep, so, like, he wasn't I was kinda worried about him for a couple of days because he didn't look good, and I was like, "Not you too, motherfucker." Um, but then after a couple nights of regular sleep, he looked better, and I was like, "Okay, good, I don't have to worry about him." But me and Bryson, we just didn't neither of us really wanted to go to our rooms, and then I was like, I'm not," and actually, the 3rd night, we put a blow-up mattress in our room, and he slept in our room. He just didn't wanna be we didn't wanna be away from each other, and,
Yeah.
then also I'm working through, like, real fear when he is away from me, and
Mm,
that I'm hoping goes away. I'm really having to address that. And I'm about to just use my resources and go through all these people I've met on my fucking show. I know any one of them would be willing to talk. So I'm about to be like, yeah, I have some questions about this.
right.
And I really want to see a medium at some point.
I was gonna ask you
I
about that. I
Yeah, I
think that
feel
would be
like
really
that's going to be
healing.
important to me and my journey specifically, which one of my friends is a medium. And he did reach out and he said, "Hey, I'm really sorry." And he's like, "Just so you know, he seems very close and he's not going anywhere and he wanted me to tell you he's okay." And I was like, I felt like, oh, here was another synchronicity. I was sitting there that night or the next morning before his friend came over. And the way I envisioned it is that, like, he woke up, wherever dimension, and said, "Fuck," because he never thought it'd be him. He just
Yeah.
was so smart, like, "Oh, meh, meh, meh." His friend said, he goes, "You know what, Ivan," and we weren't talking about that, but he's like, "Yeah, it's funny because I was thinking about this and I thought, whatever place he woke up in, that immediately he said, 'fuck.'" And I was like, "Bitch, that was exactly what I thought," you know? So I
He's
was just like, "Yeah,
communicating
me
to
too."
his friends. That's
Yes, it feels like it. It feels like it a lot. Like I'll be getting really sad because his friends are busy and they're not texting as much, and boom, a friend will text. It's nonstop. So I'm like, "Okay, he's still taking care of us. He's around," and I hope that we'll always, I don't know how to word this, but feel like enough. You know what I mean? Like, I right
mm.
now, it feels like enough because it's I can still feel connected to him,
Oh, yeah.
but, like, I don't know, I guess I try not to, like, even future forecast at all, but I just hope, I guess there's a part of me that's afraid it's gonna feel worse at some point than it already does, but I think that's just my brain looking for control,
I was
you
just
know?
gonna say, I used to be a huge what is it called? Catastrophizing or whatever. So I definitely know how
Me
you
too. Me
go
too.
down that path. Um, my advice would be just don't even worry about it until it
That's
happens. If
that
it
that's what
happens.
I keep
Yeah.
thinking. Yeah, I keep thinking, "Well, right now, you're
Yeah,
okay.
it's
So
fine.
let's just be okay right now," you know? Like, so that's what I keep doing too, and I understand that's the only thing my brain knows how to do is find solutions to problems, even if the solution is just go crazy, you
Yeah.
know? Like, "You know what we should do? Go lose our shit."
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to kinda lean into the idea that my brain's a liar and I have no business being there, and I just need to be in my body, in my heart, just minute by minute, and that's kinda how we're living right now is minute by minute. I'm looking forward to some normalcy next week. I think there's a couple clients I'm not gonna see yet, but I'm I miss my ones that I've had for over a year a lot. I mean, I'm glad I've taken the time, but I wanna talk to them,
Yeah.
and, uh I got a fucking request for a motivational speaking event in April during all of
Ooh.
this. I've been a part of something called Gig Salad for a while. I paid for a membership, wasn't getting any leads, so I quit paying because it's expensive. And even on the free thing, and I was like, well, I don't have any attachment to this, so I quoted kind of high, and it sounds like I'm gonna get it. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do the things that, 'cause those things do make me happy. Talking makes me happy, like, it lights me up, I'm ready to do interviews again, like, all of it. I'm ready to get back into all of my normal stuff, just reduced level, because I know that I'm gonna be tired for a little bit. I was
Yeah.
already struggling with some energy level stuff, but I I'm just being really cognizant of that while not taking on too much. Because then the following week, Charlie will go back to school and waking up extra early will happen again, so I'm not looking forward to that, but I'm trying to make myself go to bed at a decent time and stuff like that, so
Yeah, routines are amazing for sanity, in my opinion.
yes, I'm really looking forward to routine again, I really am. I mean, in some ways, I'm so glad that, like, today and the next couple days, there's nothing really on the agenda, and so I'm gonna take advantage of just being really slow. But, I'm gonna slowly ease into the therapy thing with my clients. I'm gonna see my longtime ones for sure and a couple of the new ones. I think there's a couple I'm not gonna see this week just because I don't know that I have the energy for it, but, um, I'm okay with that, Like, if they need to see my boss, they can see my boss, the lady who
Yeah.
owns the company I do contract work for, so I'm fine with that. It is what it is, you know?
Well, I have to say, just from this conversation and reading some of your posts, I think the way you're approaching this is extremely emotionally mature. And I'm really proud of you because there's been like some moments where I'm like, I don't know if I would have the strength to handle this. So
Yeah, well, thank
I'm really
you.
proud
I
of
mean,
you.
it's just really important to me that, well, I feel like I wouldn't have experienced this much loss in my life if it wasn't part of my purpose to show people a better way to do that, you
Yeah,
know? And
maybe
to have
that
had
is
the
it.
contrasting experiences too of doing it really shitty and then doing it with effort and intention. I'm not saying I'm so good at this, but I am approaching this with effort and
Yeah, and you
intention.
didn't come off that way at all. I guess because my main grief experience was my dad, and again, I did not handle it well at all, so, like, watching you through this journey, I'm like it was a you're a role model for me basically because 'cause it'll
Oh,
there will be another period of my life where I have grief, and
right.
I think this is helping me as well, and
Well,
hopefully other
good.
people.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope so because I do feel like role model is kind of my role right now. So
Yeah,
it's not that I'm going to do anything because I feel like I'm on a stage, but I just have a knowing that it matters, you know? Like
yeah.
however imperfectly even I show up, I'm going to talk about it and I think that all is going to help, you know?
Yeah, because the people who need to hear your message won't care if it's perfectly polished or not.
Right. Right. Yeah, I'm just so glad I've gotten so comfortable with talking and not just writing, you know?
Yeah.
Because I've been I mean, I'll talk about any of it. I don't give a shit. And I'm glad. I'm so glad because talking about it with his friends and whatever in front of Charlie and Bryson, they don't realize all the programming they're receiving in real time from
Oh,
hearing me
yeah.
talk, but I
'Cause my
do.
'Cause my family swept everything under the rug.
Mhm.
So, that's huge.
Oh, I can recognize those protective layers that I started building with my dad was because my grandma made it so unsafe to talk about. In fact, Bryson was getting pissed at me. I say pissed, but he was getting agitated with me the first few days because I would be like, okay, I'm about to do a weird mom thing. Because I remember watching people do things that felt weird to me
Mm,
because my grandma had made grief itself so taboo and like
yeah.
you know, don't have pictures of your dead loved one out. Don't you know what I mean? Like, don't purposely make a shrine, don't whatever. Everything was just so weird, and she would use the word morbid. And so
Mhm.
I realized that was one of the reasons that I struggled so much to talk is I didn't feel safe, and I didn't wanna be
Yeah.
judged, and that was most of it. I didn't wanna be judged, and now I don't give a shit who judges me. Like, I'm
Right.
judged, you know, whatever. Even just there was a slight, like, I'll say agitation point, thinking about, like, people blaming me for this and, like, not caring per se, but just, like, ugh, drives me crazy. Like, his paternal grandpa and, you know, step grandma, um, they're just really judgmental. I mean, that's the truth. And so I was like, I just know they fucking blame me for this. But I was like, I'm gonna let that go. But I
Yeah.
just don't care. I just don't care about how I look or how any of this presents because I know that that's what really fucked me up before is feeling like you had to do it a certain way. And I know that came from my grandma.
Yeah.
And yes, she would talk about my mom, like, but that was because she lost a child. But she had had a lot of loss in her life too that she never dealt with. But when it was her child, you really can't hold it in. You know what I mean? But she did try to appear as normal as possible. And
Mhm.
I'm not trying to be normal. I know
Yeah.
there is no normal. I'm never going to be the person I was before I lost Jake ever again.
Yeah, it's like a whole new identity.
Mhm. It is, and that was the thing that Bryson really talked about. He's like, "I am not the same person I was 5 days ago." And I was like, "No, you're not." And that was I was trying to explain to him new normal. I was like, "You're in psychology, so you know about mirror neurons." I was like, "Our brains are literally not ever gonna even light up in that same way again."
Mhm.
But and I was thinking about how excited every time I saw him walk in the door, how I'd be like, "Hi, Jakey." And, like, that's never gonna happen again. So, like, I can even almost feel what part of my brain used to light up whenever he would walk in the room, or having him try something I cooked, and we both realized me and Bryson both realized how important Jake's opinion was to us because he was a harsh critic and he was honest as
Yeah.
fuck. So, we both, like that was something we hadn't realized until talking about him, was like, "Damn, I used to really value his opinion specifically." And so, like, that's we don't have that anymore. You're not the same person, and who
Mhm.
would fucking wanna be? Who would wanna be? Like, when you
Exactly.
lose such a big part of yourself, who would wanna pretend like
Like it didn't
that
happen.
didn't happen?
Yeah, and I think
So,
a lot of people try to force that. They wanna go back because I like how you said the new normal, because I think a lot
mhm.
of people, their goal is to get back to normal, but it's like, you can't go back, you've already shifted.
Yeah, and it really hurt Bryson when I told him that. He was like, "Please don't say that," at first, but he was crying and saying like, "I just wanna feel normal again." This was in the first 48 hours, I
Yeah,
don't remember at what point, and I was like, You're not gonna feel like that again. You're not that person anymore. You're a person who found your brother." You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, that you're not fucking normal after that. You're not how would you stay the same after that?
that's really powerful.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're just doing our best, but I think all things considered, I think we're doing really well, and we're just being really open and really appreciating the food, especially Bryson. The way to his heart is through his food, is through his tummy. So he's been very excited about all the food.
So what are the best dishes that you've been gifted?
Someone from his martial arts, the owner of his martial arts place, who was like a little mama to him, she made us this really fucking good chicken and rice, and it was a long grain rice,
Oh, I
like a
like
white
that, yeah.
rice. It was a rice I hadn't had before, but that was really good. Oh, and they made us brownies. And then the other day, well, actually, my one friend, everything she's brought, she made this beautiful fucking charcuterie board, like on it was a plastic tray, but it was
It doesn't
amazing.
matter, yeah.
Yeah, and, I don't remember oh, she made these homemade giant sub sandwiches that
Ooh,
were it was like a really big
I
giant
love
one that we got
sandwiches.
to eat for, like, 3 days. Yes, me too. We got to eat that for, like, 3 days, it was so good. Um, and she made all these homemade dips, like buffalo chicken and spinach and artichoke. I mean, really good ones too, like, not the way I would make a homemade di like, it was fucking good. And, so that was really good, but then the other night, she brought us, like, funeral potatoes, and which are some of my favorite, and, like, a homemade, like, hamburger helper type thing, like, really big elbow noodles, and, like, just really good sauce and stuff, and then she also made a homemade chili with all the fixins for either Frito chili pie or chili dogs, and she brought all
Damn.
that stuff. Like
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Yeah, I was like, "Okay," I mean, as much as I do appreciate the donated gift cards too, because 'cause it's been nice to just whatever, damn, getting that was like, I just kept texting her and being like, "This is the gift that keeps on giving, man, like, it's so good." That charcuterie board, we ate on that for days.
And the funny thing is that was probably so easy for her to do because she sounds like someone who does that a
She's
lot. Yeah.
she's a Libra, so she's all, into the aesthetic of things, and yeah, she's so good at it. In fact, there was part of me that didn't want her to do it because I know she overextends herself way too much, but then I was like, "Well,
If
if she
you're gonna
gonna
be
do it for someone,
yeah,
may
if
as
you're
well
gonna be
be me."
extra, go extra on me.
Yes, because I kept not wanting people to do things because I was like, "I know they don't have the time for that," but then I was like, "Oh, well, they offered. I'm taking them up on it."
Well, that was another post of yours I liked because it was about receiving. Because 'cause I'm so bad at receiving, and that was so beautifully worded, so I also took something away from that. Because
Good, I'm so
yeah.
glad because that was a lesson I was really learning in the weeks leading up to that, was I know we've talked about this, how I could see in theory how I was blocking some things, like how protective layers were keeping me from some love, but I hadn't had this aha moment, and just days before that, I was like, "Well, if you just talk about stuff, like, or allow people to just be themselves with you instead of judging every way they respond to you." And then I also had a major, like, one of those aha after. It was like the day of the viewing. That morning I was like, "Oh, I was lying to myself." I used to be like, well, who am I going to talk to, including therapist, about all of my shit? Because I was like, they're all stupid. And that was truly how I felt.
Mm,
They're all stupid. They don't know how to show up for me. Like they don't know what to say to make me feel better or whatever. Really believing that there was something somebody could say to make
yeah,
me feel better or some magical advice or whatever. And I was like, it was just the talking that I needed. But I lied to myself and said I couldn't because then they're going to say something that annoys me or whatever. No, honey, you're just afraid to talk about your shit. You're afraid to share. You're afraid to be vulnerable. I didn't get it.
that's
Finally
so
I felt
deep.
it. Yes, it felt so good. I was like, "I understand it now. I fucking understand." Because listen, I'm talking to people who have no idea what to say, and I don't give a shit because it's just the listening I care about. Like, it's
Yeah.
just the fact that I have a safe space to say all of this shit to, and them see me and witness me and hold me in that pain.
And I know
It
we've talked about
helps.
this before, but this is the value of questioning everything you do and why you do it, because it leads to these breakthroughs.
Yes. And I think too, I'm getting to a place where I wanna even be there's only a few people that I even need to have this particular thing with right now, but I really wanna approach everyone like that with the why would that be the thing? Why,
Curiosity.
you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, I really do. I'm allowing myself to be agitated if the person is being stupid, and there's been that, but also not too much, like I wanted the next step, like feel it, experience it, and then go, okay, but why would somebody do that?
Yeah.
You know the answer to that. So let's not hang out in agitation land? But it is amazing. It is amazing because, like, one of my really close friends who moved away, um, like in August, showed up out of the blue at the visitation. And it's not somebody I would have normally shared my shit with because she's so sweet and she's so naive. She just hasn't had the life I've had. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And she's just someone who would have agitated my spirit before because I would have been like, "Ugh, she didn't show up perfectly," but she just listened, and she's who I shared that epiphany with, like, I've just seen today, like, oh, it is just the sharing of yourself that helps so much. You get to talk. I will process everything I need to know for myself just through having the conversation, you know?
Yeah.
And so that has been the number one thing that I've taken away from this is like, damn, I was just protecting myself. I just didn't wanna share. I was just scared to be vulnerable in front of people. I'm not scared of that now. So, I'm very willing to do whatever it takes to get this shit out. I mean, I do fear that this is gonna become my whole personality, but I think, okay, that's okay if that's it for a little while, if this
I
is
was
the
just
only
gonna
thing I
say,
really know.
like, what if it is? Because you're still helping other people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think too. That's where I landed whenever I was like, "Eh," but also I think that's just my brain remembering maybe some of the judgments I made before to dismiss someone else, to dismiss my own pain,
Yeah.
you know? And I've seen some of that in others, not towards me, but I can see where people are being somewhat dismissive because it hurts them too much to really step into this? I'm not holding anything against anyone. How do you support somebody who literally found their child in their bedroom?
Yeah.
Like, how do you I've been so pleasantly surprised at the fucking amount of people. Like, I was just like I was telling my friend because some of my older friends, we there's been so much space because they don't know this new me. They don't know this softness that I have and vulnerability, and they still see me as this so many people were afraid to hug me because they know that I
Oh,
used to hate
really?
hugs. Yeah, and I just anyone who's kinda mentioned it, like, "How should we approach that?" I'm like, "Hey, that's fine." But I was talking to one of my old the friend about the resentment thing, that
Yeah.
friend?
Yeah.
Uh,
How could I
she
forget?
messaged yeah, and she messaged and I was talking to her and I was like, "Not to make this all about me," but I was like, "I feel so loved right now." Like that I feel so much love around me. And it's not that I didn't before, like in my previous life I didn't, but that was the contrast I was making is like just this anger and resentment that I built up to believe that nobody loved me, to stop me from fucking
Yep.
being vulnerable. But I was so glad that I was even not afraid to talk to her about that because to her, like that made her happy to see me be soft in this moment and to be like, I feel really happy to receive the type of support I'm receiving, just stuff like that. And
Yeah.
that helped her because I knew people were scared for me. I mean, anybody who loses a child,
Yeah, I was worried
like,
about you.
yeah, I knew that. And I was trying to like feel for me. I know that you're gonna hurt for me, but don't worry. Like I'm not we're not there.
Yeah.
We don't want to hurt ourselves. We don't, you know what I mean? I don't
But
want to
even
throw my
just
life
that deep
away.
pain, I was like, "Oh." Like, I'm actually glad we didn't talk. Remember, like, the first day? You were like, I still wanna have our call and talk about it." I was like, "I don't think I can handle
Y
it because."
yes, yes, yeah, yeah, I mean, I just wanted to talk, but I don't even remember what happened that day, but, yeah,
I
I was
can
glad we didn't
Oh, you
either
got the
because
appointment with the funeral home,
oh, that's right, yeah.
and I was like, "Good," 'cause that's
Which
way
was
more
a whole
important.
thing. Yeah, but I was glad because I didn't wanna, like, record a solo episode, but I've been so dedicated to that show that I've never missed an episode, so I was really glad. That was another synchronicity that I haven't really talked about. I was thinking about that girl specifically doing what we ended up doing to have that episode, to do it that way, and then she offered it.
Yeah, and that's
And I
not a
was like,
coincidence. Cause she could
"It's
have been
not a co."
booked 3 weeks ago, she could have been booked 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, and she offered it and offered the exact thing I was wanting to do, and I was like, "Yes," because I actually have been wanting to do that with you specifically, so thank you for offering. I was gonna ask her, but I didn't have to. She offered the exact thing that I wanted, and I was like, "Wow, okay." Again, I don't believe in coincidences, you
Mm-mm.
know? So, yeah, I he's definitely around, and it feels good. That feels good, and I do believe, uh, I don't like to say this out loud because people who don't believe the way we do, it's gonna open me up to judgment and criticism, but whatever. I don't believe this is happening to me. I think this is happening for me. I think this was part of my life plan and Jake's. I don't believe it was too soon. I think this was when it was gonna happen. And if it didn't happen now, it was going like this was part of his plan. This sometimes these are the only way we don't grow from sunshine and rainbows,
Yeah.
you know? So, I mean, I think I always knew this is where we were gonna end. It was, what I was always afraid of. I've been afraid of this since he was 2 years old.
Oh,
So,
really? Really?
yeah. Yeah. Oh, ask anyone. I've always been like, as long as he doesn't I was like, "We're just trying to keep him from ODing on heroin."
Since he was 2?
Yeah.
So it's like you always knew.
Mhm. Yeah. Again, that's why none of it was there okay. I haven't talked about this at all, but I actually had a friend, last year when I was having an this is when the fear of waking him up started, was last year. I could tell something was off. I ended up finding out he was abusing Xanax to the point where he really could have died, but at the time I didn't know. I just knew something in my spirit was becoming afraid to wake him up. Actually, that started not at that time. It got intense again at that time, but it started right before something with drugs happened, and I think it was just weed that first time, but I was like, "Oh, is this why I've been so afraid?" Like, whatever, because it would come and go where I couldn't go to his room. There's been
Okay.
times in the last year that I had Bryson, I would go in there and I'd be like, "Can you wake Jake up? I'm too afraid to go in his room." I only did that twice, but this has happened, like, I've been this afraid for a long time. So, I told a friend that last year, and they were, like, really pretty harsh with me and said that I needed to get him in a rehab and do da da da, 'cause if I did find him, I was just gonna blame myself and blah, blah, blah. Now, the lesson that I got from that, I actually grew from the conversation because the conversation pissed me off pretty
Yeah.
good, was that I can be really triggered in a conversation and still then come back to baseline and understand that they are speaking from their own place. That
Yeah.
that didn't have shit to do with me. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Um, and I have not spoken with that friend really since around that time. I don't wanna have the conversation where just and this is ego, but, like, just knowing that you're if you find out, you're gonna be like, "I told you so," in your own brain. That's ego that cares about that, but right now it cares.
I think that's, like, a valid enough reason, though, to not speak to them.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, what the fuck do you know? But
Also
also, it was just really fucking, like, harsh.
you can't send someone to rehab who doesn't want to change, you know what I mean? Like, he has
Right,
to.
well, and I wanted him to. I said, "Jake, I think we need to look at rehab," and he was like, "Mom," we talked about an outpatient rehab after because he wouldn't go. He didn't wanna
Mhm.
go to an
But see,
inpatient.
that's what I mean, like, so it's not gonna
Yeah,
work anyway if you force
right,
it to go.
and listen, I've been around addicts my whole life. Like, I'm pretty used to
So you
blaming
already
the
knew that,
person who
yeah.
takes the blame because he chose to buy the
And
drugs.
he's gonna find even if that person wouldn't have sold it to him, someone else
Exactly.
would. So it's like,
Someone else
I know
would.
what you mean. It's just like
Yeah,
a
I don't
weird
care.
blame game.
Yeah. Yes, and I'm not getting wrapped up in that shit. Like,
Yeah.
I it doesn't do a goddamn ounce of good. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't
Yeah.
change anything. And I mean, having grown up around addicts and kind of reducing that codependency, I'm well aware that the person who has the responsibility is the person doing the drugs. So it's
Mhm.
not his friend's fault. It's not his dealer's fault. It's not anybody's fault except his. And I'm not saying that from a place of anger. I'm saying that from a place of understanding. It is his
Yeah.
fault. It's his fault. He didn't mean to do this. I have no doubt, but it's his fault. I'm not mad at him. I don't have an ounce of anger, not a single ounce, but it's his fault. It's not my fault. Yes, there are so many things I would have done differently if I had the chance to go
Yeah.
back. So many things, but I don't fucking have that chance. Why would I waste my life thinking about those
Yeah.
things?
And
I
that's what
don't
a
have it.
lot of people do when they're grieving. Like,
And
"Oh, if
that's
I
the
just
number
would
one
have done
thing I'm
that."
trying
Yeah.
to model for his friends and for Bryson is sure, with different information, we would have done different things. You're right. We
Yeah,
could have.
that doesn't mean
I'm
it
trying to
changes the
shift it
outcome.
to
Yeah.
I wish I had. Because that's fleeting. You know, when you're kind of thinking
Mm.
about something, you're like, "I wish I had done that,"
Oh, instead
instead
of
of,
I
"I
should have.
should've."
Yeah,
Yes, "I
agree.
should've," or I could've," or whatever. It's like, yeah, I kinda wish I had. I wish I had done this or that or whatever, but in terms of rehab, it's like and he did do good after that time. He did stop using Xanax for a long time. I don't know what he was doing now. It'll take 90 days to get all of the pathology back,
Oh, really?
but yeah, because they did a pretty detailed autopsy. Um, but it's not gonna make a difference to me.
Yeah, 'cause, like, what are you gonna do now?
Right, right. He's still gone. Like, nothing changes knowing anything. I don't need it for me. I'm curious about some things, so because in my heart, intuitively, what I feel is that it was just. I don't believe it was fentanyl. I believe that he was taking several different things and mixing things and also taking way too much. That's what I believe.
Okay.
But I also believe it was peaceful. I don't think he knew it was coming. It looked very peaceful. I mean, I didn't see everything because I chose not to walk to that side and see like the front of him, but I could see him from behind, and it looked very much like the exact same thing I've seen him do hundreds of times, laying on the floor, chilling with his phone. I don't think he saw this coming. I don't think he had any pain. I think he fell
I
asleep.
was just gonna say he probably was unconscious when it happened.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I believe. And I don't believe it was fentanyl. I just don't believe that. Now, if I find out it was, I mean, okay, it's not going to change anything for me, but it'll just be another part of this process. But for now, I'm focused on the fact that Bryson has a fucking orthopedic appointment on Monday. He might have to have surgery.
Oh, yeah, so
So
what is all broken? What does a broken hand mean? Like,
just his fifth metacarpal right here.
oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
major,
just,
though.
yeah. And it was mildly displaced. So it moved a little bit. So we don't know. He's
Oh,
at
yeah,
this point like, "What do I
that's just
hope for?
hard
That
with the
they reset
hand.
it in the office or that I have to have surgery?" And I'm like, "I I almost I don't wanna pay for surgery, but damn, I don't want you to go through what you're gonna have to go because I know you're gonna make me be in the room, and I do not wanna
Oh,
be there if they reset your hand. I
I
do
wouldn't wanna
not.
watch that either. Oh,
No."
that makes me wanna pass out just thinking about it.
Me too. Every time I'm like, "I guess I hope he has surgery?" Like, ugh, I don't really, but, ooh, yeah. So
Wait,
that's
when is
kind of the
that?
next thing. Monday, he goes, right after we record
Oh, okay.
on Monday. In fact, I'll have to cut the recording just a little bit that day,
That's
but yeah,
okay.
we have to go that afternoon. Ugh, not looking forward to it at all.
Ugh, I'm not jealous.
Right?
Yeah, it, like,
I was
makes me
like,
wheezy just thinking about it.
me too. Me too. I do not want to deal with the surgery, but I also don't want. But also, here's where I'm at. I'm like, okay, well, this was just an urgent care nurse practitioner that read the x ray. So maybe the orthopedist saw it and was like, "Oh, that's just a little bit of manipulation and cast."
Yeah, I don't know. I'm, like, so curious now,
I
and
know, I'll let you
I won't
know.
know until after our call.
Yeah, yeah, but I'll text you for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
need to know.
Yeah, 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 but I've had that same exact like, "Woo," Like, every time I think about it, I'm like, "Oh, I'm just trying to think positively as much as possible, cause god dang it, what the fuck?" He's really scared. He's never had a broken bone, so
Interesting.
I know. So, that's where we're at today.
Oh, well, I've been sending you so much love and been thinking about you a lot.
Well, thank you. I feel it. I feel all of it. It's very nice for people to reach out for sure and just send good energy, you know?
Yeah, because like you made this comment earlier, like you don't know what to say when someone's going through something. And I remember before my dad died, I always felt like, oh, I need to find the thing to say to make someone feel better. And then after he died, I realized there's absolutely nothing you can say. So that's why I'm like, I'm just always sending love because I'm like, that's what I have control over of.
Right, and you would think I would have known that too, but my ego really made me think when I've shown up for people that I was doing it right. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
but
And
even
now
now,
I
like, my
realize
brain searches for
nothing.
something, like even with you, I was like, "What should I say?" And I'm like, I mean, it sucks, there's nothing I can say.
Yeah, there's nothing you can say. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and people have really attempted, and I'm like, "That's sweet,"
That's
but
what
it
makes
doesn't
it
help at
weird.
all.
Yeah, and so
Uh-huh.
that's what I've learned with my dad because people would say weird things, and I'm like, "Okay, I'd rather just not say anything than say something weird." Because then it's just
Yeah, I'm
awkward
glad
and
for the
it's like
times that I've just sent thinking about you, like, you know what I mean? Because honestly, being willing to like be able to hold the space to be like, I don't want to say this and anyone feel like, I mean, who knows who's going to listen, but anyone feel like if they weren't able to do this, that I'm upset with them in any way or judging them in any way, because that's not the case. But there are times when someone asks you how you are and you can tell your response was too much for them and they don't come back to the conversation.
oh, I only ask that question to someone grieving if I'm willing to, like
Yeah, you have to have the capacity for the answer because guess what? I'm going to give you the answer.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Or
used
just
to, I
in
wouldn't have.
general. Yeah, if you
Uh
ask
huh.
someone that question, you need to be willing to hear the answer.
And that's some of the reason that I haven't been necessarily super active with people that I've known more on a periphery who have gone through major loss this last year because I knew I didn't have the capacity for the
Yeah,
answer. I couldn't hold them. So I hated that, but I couldn't. And I knew that because I had my own shit. You know what I mean? So I was like,
mhm.
I just can't. But so I'm not upset with anyone because I know that's not about me. You know, like
Yeah,
they didn't have the capacity. But the people who do, that is the thing that helps. When you hold the conversation and you just show up exactly how you are, and it's just with an open heart, ready to receive whatever it is that I'm giving. Because if you ask me, I'm telling you,
yeah,
like today was a hard day or whatever, you know? I got a lot of messages yesterday. I didn't even know how to answer the question because I was like, it's a weird day. It was weird, you know, until
mhm.
last night. If someone had asked how I was at midnight, I'd been like, I'm currently losing my shit. But I'm just grateful for the people who can hold it. And now too, Bryce and I have said a lot. Like now we really know how much signing up for the meal train does help and you know offering certain chores and, you know, space does help. So, like, we feel good that we know how to at least provide some sort of help during something like this. Because before we would have,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
people always say, like, let me know if you need anything.
And
But
I always do that too because I never know what to actually offer. But so this is also good information for everyone else. Like food and laundry are like 2 good things to start off
those
with.
were very good
Yeah.
things. Yeah. And I mean, just like, you know, if somebody lives in a place where this isn't me, but I'm just thought of this, where they have to go to a post office to check their mail, get their key and go get their mail for them, you know, little
Yeah.
tasks that just take so much effort and
Mhm.
energy. Do you need, uh you know, personal care items, you know, like are you out of deodorant, you know, just shit like that.
Yeah.
Even just creating a basket of personal care items, like if you know it's a woman who still has a menstrual cycle, just showing up with that shit, you
Yeah.
know, like I think just meeting those needs that like just take way too much bandwidth when you're like I couldn't even fucking process how to press one for the right person I needed for 911,
Yeah,
like your
that
brain
doesn't
just
seem
doesn't
like a
work.
good system.
I'm not happy with it because I couldn't do it. I
Yeah.
could not do it. My little brain was like, "The fuck?" Even though it was wild because as much as it hurt and it sucked, I felt peace from the first moment because literally nobody can understand what the fear I've lived in for so long was
Mhm.
doing to me. I mean, just a few days before, I was like, "Universe, I need to," because I saw a TikTok where you could do this, and I was like, "I'm gonna do it," because I'm just so overcome with fear all the time. 3 different days right before, I was like, "I'm gonna give you this to worry about for today. I'm not gonna worry about it. Please hold this worry
Mm.
for me. You're gonna worry about it for me today." And that's how I was getting through the days leading up to this because something in me just knew something wasn't right. And I didn't know what, but I knew something was not right, and the fear was intense all the time. And that's why it pisses me off to think about that friend being so judgmental about the fact that I was afraid that I would find him dead. I'm like, first of all, you don't even know my brain. My brain does that. That's what I did when they were babies too, that they
Yeah.
would die of SIDS. Like, that's just how my brain works, first of all. So fuck you that
Yeah,
you're
it's the
judging me for not.
overthinker's brain.
Yeah. I'm like, I know you're not an overthinker, but I am. So whatever. And maybe they were. And that's why it triggered them, to
Yeah,
hear that.
true.
And I know it's not about me, but I am like,
No, but I think it's good to have this awareness that certain people are triggering you in certain ways, and
yeah, I want to stay really open to why, like there's been several things that I'm like, I don't want that person to trigger me anymore. I got to figure out why they do so badly because, and then some of it is like, it's okay to feel that too. It's okay that that person being kind of inconsiderate right now is upsetting you. You know what I
right.
mean? So anyway, we're doing okay, truly. I mean, today so far is a good day. But I think it's because I haven't been awake that long and I got to talk to you. So, but like it's
Well,
good.
it's a
It's
good
good to
start.
have this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just open to whatever it brings.
Well, again, I'm extremely proud of your emotional maturity, and I think
Thank
that's
you.
not only is that a good example for people like me, but also your kids because, I was 37 when my dad died, and I know you were younger when your parents died, so I think, like, at different stages in your life, grief hits differently.
For sure. Yeah. And with this being their first real
That's
loss,
what I'm saying. Yeah.
it's been important to model for me. It's been really important because I took in so many weird messages. I want them to see healthy, as much as I can show up that way.
Yeah.
And even though Bryson didn't see me cry last night, I told him that I did. Like, I want him to see
Yeah.
that, like, I'm losing my shit too. It looks different than you, but I have those moments where there's been several times where I jump up from what I'm doing and go, I feel panicky. And like, then I have to take some really deep breaths. And it's just
Mhm.
because my brain got away from me for a second. And then I just center and move on. But I wanted him to see that.
Like, it's totally normal to have this experience. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I hope you're doing well.
Yes, I am. I've actually had a really relaxing week, so that's been nice.
Good. I'm glad. And Christmas wasn't too shitty.
No, I went hiking and put together a puzzle.
Good. Okay, good. I thought about you all day. Well, I'm glad you're doing good. I'm glad we're back to regularly scheduled programming. I'll start putting out episodes again next week when I'm back
Yeah.
in a routine.
I
I'm
don't
just
care
out
about
of
that.
routine right now. Yeah.
No excuses.
Mm. I just appreciate you listening.
Oh, no, I was, like, so excited to talk to you.
Good. I was excited to talk to you too. That's why I was like, God damn it, where's my food? I want to get some food in me before I do this. So yeah, I'm really glad we did this.
Me too.
Thank you for being able to take so much time with me today.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Okay, I'm gonna push stop. One sec.